Hi folks, and welcome back to Reality Check. Now, the more scientific among you will have doubtless noticed that I am not Cameron. He's away this week, so I'll be filling in on his behalf. This week's question was posed to us by GameSpot user and presumed cyborg killing machine Guneye. Could we ever control games by plugging our brain directly into a machine? The brain, lovely big hideous pink thing. There's a reason it looks so disgusting. It's folded like that to allow for more surface area and thus more space for brain cells known as neurons. There are roughly 86 billion of the buggers in the average human brain, and, combined with the rest of the central nervous system, they control and regulate the entire body. They communicate with one another by firing off electrochemical signals. Every time we think, feel, or move, our neurons are hard at work firing away, and these signals can travel as fast as 250 miles an hour. Now, using detection equipment, it's possible to read these signals and then interpret them, meaning in theory you could then use the data from those signals to direct a machine. This is the simple basis of what's known as brain-machine interfacing. Now, while we don't exactly have people driving buses or typing up emails using their brains, brain-machine interfacing has already been proven to be quite possible. We can train animals to operate either a robotic or virtual actuator with their thoughts alone. Take this monkey, for instance. Kept from moving its own limbs and offered food, the monkey is incentivized into thinking about the robotic arm, the only thing that can reach the food, moving as though it were part of its own body. Thanks to the nodes installed in the movement cortex of its brain, the electrochemical signals produced by the thoughts are picked up and interpreted by the computer connected to the arm, causing it to move and grab the food. In essence, the brain is tricked into occupying or owning a virtual body, in this case, a grabby claw. So will this technology be coming to your PC, Xbox One or PS4 anytime soon? No. Not unless you fancy having some wires implanted in your brain for the privilege. External cabs are a safer method, but considerably less accurate, so for now you can either have the invasive brain surgery or carry on using your hands like a chump. The technology is rapidly approaching a state of functional utility, which is great news for people with, for example, quadriplegia. Broadly speaking, though, there's one thing brain-machine interfacing lacks, and that's sensory feedback. Think of it this way, you're playing a video game and you need to press the jump button. Your brain tells your thumb or finger to move, pressing down where it reckons the button should be. When you press down, the nerve endings in your finger or thumb feed back to your brain, letting you feel the button against your spongy flesh. That's when you realise you've done it correctly. That sensory feedback is something robot arms, being made of metal, don't have. For the time being, that is. Research is currently focused on expanding the brain-machine interface into a brain-machine-brain interface, allowing the person controlling a foreign body, a robotic arm say, to get feedback from that object, in a crude sense, lending feeling to something outside of the human body. Video games already attempt this extra level of connection through controller vibrations, helping the player forge a more complete mental link with the game they're mostly processing through sight and sound. Bringing that extra piece of mental ownership to video games controlled by the brain, however, is still a fair ways off. Part of the reason we aren't already gaming machines with built-in rumble packs is that, for all our accomplishments thus far, we still don't know what a lot of the brain is used for. To quote Dr. Steven Novella, we already have a great deal of knowledge about functional brain anatomy, but at the same time have a lot more to learn. The more we come to understand about the anatomy of the brain, the better equipped we'll be to work out where the electrodes need to be placed and what they could help us do. So could we find our brains being manipulated into feeling the icy whip of the wind in Skyrim or the thud of a bullet in a first-person shooter? It's all theoretically possible, but there's a lot of ground to cover before it becomes reality. Happily, the plausibility of this technology is enhanced by the plasticity of the brain. The brain has a tremendous capacity to not only learn, but to actually alter its wiring to adapt to new functions. There don't appear to be any absolute or even relative barriers to developing brain-machine interface technology. The concept is already well proven, now it's just a matter of refinement. So to answer the question, could we ever control games by plugging our brain directly into a machine? Yes. Yes, we could. I think. I don't know. I'm not the sciencey one. Luckily, the sciencey one is back next week, but in the meantime, why not let us know what game you'd most like to control directly with your brain? What kind of sensory feedback would you like to experience? Feel free to leave a comment down below or fire off a tweet at CamFrazRob or at John Air if you like. Thanks for watching.